Hey guys, what's up? Synx here, and this is going to be the first of hopefully a series of Arma 2 editor tutorials. Um, I'm going to be going over the 2D section of the mission editor in this series. The 3D one is a lot more complex, and I personally don't even know how to use it, so I'm not going to try and teach you. So right off the bat, to get to the editor, at the main menu, you go to Single Player, Editor, and then from a list of maps I'm just going to do UTES. Just pick one and it'll load and it'll bring you to the screen. Now the reason I'm doing this is that I've been told by many people that they want to start getting into mission making, but they have no clue where to start. So hopefully my mission with this series is to give you that little jump start and give you the information and resources you need to be able to begin making your own missions. For this first tutorial, I'm just going to go over the basic interface so you get a feel of it. It's fairly simple as it seems. If you click this gray box right here where it says Intel and has a cloud, these are your environmental settings. They call it Intel. It's where you put the name for the mission, the description. You can set the date here, the time, weather, fog, all that good stuff. And independence, you can set their friendly factions here as well. I'm not going to be going too in depth for any of these things. I'm just going to explain the basic layout and interface and what everything does. Right here you have your different sections or tabs. The first one you see is your units tab. This is essentially where you can scroll through the different factions and unit types and place an actual unit, which I just did right here. And if you hit preview and you have it selected, then, which I'll again go over in a different tutorial, then once this is done loading, I'm on pretty low settings right now so I can record, but you're playing around is that unit that you just placed. I'm going to go ahead and abort that, delete him. So that's pretty much units. Again, I'll go more in depth into all this in different tutorials. Groups is similar to units, different GUI that comes up when you, oh, by the way, to open all this, just double click anywhere on the map. Again, you choose your faction, or your side, and then your faction, and then what type and all this. I'm just going to create a U.S. Marine MG fire team, and instead of making one unit with the units tab, groups makes an entire section of preset units for this. This is an MG fire team. If I were to go ahead and delete those, which you just hover over and hit your delete key, and if I made a normal squad, you can see it's a lot more guys with 3 fire teams like a normal Marine squad has. To select multiple units, you just left click on the map, drag over them, and it'll select all of them, but unfortunately you still have to delete each one of them individually, which is kind of a pain. To move around the map, you right click and hold anywhere, and you can pan around. To zoom in and out is your scroll wheel on your mouse. There could be key bindings for these. I don't know of any though. So just use this. It's all pretty simple. If you move down to the next tab, you have your triggers, which trigger, the easiest way to explain it is it's a built-in if statement, I guess. So like if this condition down here, whatever you have there, if this condition is met, then it's going to execute this one action section here. So I guess it's kind of like an if statement or a switch statement if you know what that is in coding. Moving down waypoints, I'll just make a unit real quick. Waypoints, so if you have a unit selected and you double click with unit or with waypoint selected, it'll come up with this GUI saying just different parameters for what type of waypoint it is. You click OK and it places one, and you can place them in succession and stuff and create different paths. And again, I'll go over this more in depth, but that's just the route that AI will take if there's no one playing in that slot. Synchronize, synchronizing is used for modules, which I don't want to get into right now, but for right now, synchronizing, all you need to know about that is that it's used to connect modules and units and different things like that. But again, more in depth later. Markers, I'm sure you've all seen a marker before. You just give it a random name. There's different parameters, stuff like this, icons. I'll set down an American flag. And bam, you have a marker. The only thing about markers is that you can only see them when the markers tab is selected. So if I go to waypoints, you see it disappears, but it is still there. See, if you hover over it, it still has the name of it right there. If I go back to markers, it's back. So don't be upset or astonished if you have a marker and you place it and you tab out of that section and it's gone, because that's completely normal. The last tab here is the modules, and modules are different settings, or different features, I guess you can put in. Anything in the editor with this Greek letter, I'm pretty sure it's Greek, I'm not sure what it's called, but it looks like an A and an E fused together. That's an ACE function. So you've got different things here like enabling ammo cook-off or AI talk, or different things that improve gameplay and add different functions into your missions. If you go down from that, you have your load button, and this is where you can access different missions from your directory. And I'll just open up a quick mission on, let's see, where do I have one? I've got one on here. I'll do tank trouble. Just open it up. You can select the map and then the mission by name that you've saved it as. This could just wait for this to load. It's going kind of slow today. Playing on a laptop has its disadvantages. Okay, so here you see I've got this mission laid out. Click on markers, I've got my markers in here. So you can load different missions. Going down merging, I rarely have ever used. I think I've only used it like once. But if you have two missions on the same map, I believe it has to be, then it'll take the contents and everything that's in it of both missions and just fuse them into one. So it's just one big mission, and you don't have to have two separate ones if you ever want to do that. But again, I've never used that, and I don't find a usage for it. Saving, self-explanatory. You just set the mission name. Saving it as a user mission makes it a folder in your Arma 2 like editable mission files. So you can access the files and put in your scripts and all for your mission. Exporting it to single player missions just sends it to your directory for like if you bought it off Steam, off of your application section in your Steam file in your program files. It'll save it in there. And same for export to multiplayer missions, which is what you need to do if you're going to upload it to the server. So you can access the completed PBO file. Close that. Clear, I'm sure you can understand what clearing is, just deletes everything that's currently on here. ID, if you click ID and scroll in close enough, you'll see that a bunch of random numbers come up, but that's the ID number for each item that's on the map. So this building right here, I guess it's a house, it says it's a house. The ID for the house building, that at least in this section of the map, is 269,842, and this gets complicated, I guess, but it's really useful if you're trying to access a data value for like how much damage a building is taken or something like that, or if you want to create a script that destroys a stationary building and you need to select which building it is, you're going to need to come in here and get the ID number of it. You can turn that off. Textures just turns on the textures on the map for more accurate placements, because if you look up at the airfield especially, If you don't have it on, the runway says it extends all the way out here, but if you turn it on, you see that it actually ends back here on the actual map. So it's just for more accurate stuff, and so you can see what kind of terrain you're placing people in. And continue down here. That's just going back into the mission as the previous, like reloading the previous preview session, I guess, if you never aborted it. And exit just takes you out. And I'm going to end on that note. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys got a basic understanding of what the interface is and what it's like. And stay tuned for more tutorials on how to use the editor. See you.